It having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the September 26, 2023 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Present.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Here.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Mike Gunnarsson with City Ministry Network. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for a beautiful day here in Modesto. Thank you for our country and the opportunity to be here tonight and participate in this form of government. Thank you for your many blessings. I do also pray that those who live here in our city who are broken, addicted, and living without hope, those who have lost jobs and are personally struggling with their health, I pray that they would find joy and hope, health, provision, and a deep sense of community and fulfillment in their lives. I ask that the broken parts of our community would find restoration. I pray that families would thrive, businesses would prosper, our schools would flourish, that farms would richly produce, and neighborhoods would experience peace and healthy relationships. May this truly be a great community to grow up in and to grow old in for every citizen. I pray for these elected officials who are here tonight. I pray that you would bless their families, businesses, friendships, and health. May each of them fully come to know your love for them. Be with them tonight as they address the issues before them. Give them discernment, wisdom, and boldness to serve our city well. I pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there are blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? None that I am aware have been made aware of. Thank you. Will the city attorney report out on closed session, please?
Yes, Mayor. The council considered items related to existing litigation at today's closed session. No reportable action was taken.
All right. Thank you. Next is item 1, a proclamation declaring October 2023 as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I will read the proclamation. Domestic violence is a national health problem affecting millions of people in the United States each year, more common than automobile accidents, muggings, and rape by a stranger combined. And domestic violence crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers, violating a person's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity through a pattern of abusive behavior to control and dominate, causing victims to fear for their safety and well-being. Abusive behavior can be physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, social, economic, psychological, or spiritual. And domestic violence can have long-term damaging effects on victims and their families, including the over 3 million children nationwide who are exposed to domestic violence each year. Leaving a domestic violence situation is not easy and is often dangerous. 75% of women victims are seriously injured when they leave or try to leave an abusive relationship. And in the U.S., domestic violence hotlines receive thousands of calls each day. Victims deserve compassion, comfort, healing, and access to medical and legal services, counseling, transitional housing, and other services to escape the cycle of abuse and to hold their perpetrators accountable. and requests for services such as emergency shelter, housing, transportation, childcare, and legal representation often cannot be provided because programs lack the resources to meet victims' needs. The need for safe houses remains survivors' most urgent need, and domestic violence can be prevented through the collective voice and power of individuals, families, institutions, and systems working together toward this common goal. The City of Modesto supports this goal and joins with communities and organizations across the state and nation in proclaiming that we stand against domestic violence. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and encourage our residents to honor domestic violence survivors, remember those who died as a result of domestic violence, help raise awareness of the prevalence and impact of domestic violence in our community, support local organizations that provide domestic violence crisis response, recovery, and prevention services, and join with us in helping to end domestic violence in our community. Today we have accepting Kathleen Rowe Glendon from the Haven Donor Engagement, and she is a donor engagement specialist. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. My name is, again, Kathleen Rowe Glendon, and I am the Donor Engagement Specialist at Haven. At Haven, we provide healthy alternatives to violent environments for survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. These services are provided to all genders, people of all sexual orientations, and regardless of immigration status. Thank you for recognizing Haven and Domestic Violence Awareness Month during the month of October. Haven has been assisting domestic violence victims in this county with critical services since 1977. This last fiscal year alone, we helped well over 2,000 survivors and their families. Educating our community about domestic violence is integral to our mission. Awareness months shine a light on behavior and issues that often thrive in the dark. We at Haven appreciate the Council's recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Haven is also hosting its annual awareness event, Kick Up Your Heels, on October 26th at the Century. We would love to see each and every one of you there. We could use the support, and thank you so much for recognizing us.
All right, thank you. Are there any comments from council members?
What date was that again?
October 26th?
October 26th at the Century.
Do you have anything that perhaps you could email us?
Yes, I can email you tomorrow, no problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it.
Okay.
Item 2 is a proclamation declaring October 8th through 14th as National Fire Prevention Week. I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community. And fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally. And homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And according to the National Fire Protection Association, cooking is the leading cause of home fires. And fire departments in the United States respond to more than 166,400 fires annually between 2016 and 2020. And first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And residents should turn pot handles toward the back of the stove. Always keep a lid nearby when cooking. Keep a 3-foot kid-free zone around the stove, oven, and other things that could get hot. Watch what they heat and set a timer to remind them that they are cooking. And residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half. And 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme, Cooking Safety Starts With You, Pay Attention to Fire Prevention, effectively serves to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the week of October 8th through 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Modesto, and urge all residents to check their kitchens for fire hazards, use safe cooking practices, and support the many public safety activities and efforts of Modesto's fire and emergency services. And tonight we have, my understanding is Chief Wise and Chief Jesberg, and a very special guest, Sparky. Sparky. Yeah. Welcome.
This way.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for acknowledging Fire Prevention Week for this year. Fire Prevention Week has been in existence for over 100 years, and this year, as you stated, we are focusing on cooking safety. Last year, 2,600 Americans lost their lives to house fires. 50% of those fires were caused by cooking fires, and mainly the main cause of those is unattended cooking, when they put something on the stove and they forget that it's cooking. So we have those very common every day that we go to. In community risk reduction, we focus on 3 things: education, engineering, and enforcement. And we've rebranded our Fire Prevention Bureau, and we're now calling it Community Risk Reduction, because that's what we would truly like to do, is reduce the risk to our community to severe fires. And we thank you for acknowledging Fire Prevention Week.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. Do we have any remarks from council members at this time?
Yes, does Sparky talk at all? Barks? Okay.
All right, I will now bring the proclamation down. All right, going on to public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment. This is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak. The first blue card that I have in person is Jerry Thompson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have an update. Last Friday, we went to Sacramento to partake in a soft grand opening, I guess, for the Sacramento Museum in Old Sacramento for the lowrider community. This coming Saturday, we'll be going up to Sacramento again to the to California History Museum, which is a couple of blocks away from the state capitol, to bring items from Modesto to represent Modesto and the car community. Also, we're requesting that the council and the mayor consider looking at making A&W root beer here in Modesto. It's one of the longest running old drive-in restaurants in Modesto. Some I've read says 1949 it originally opened, others say 1957. We would like to see it considered to be placed as a historical site. From my own personal experience, when we have Graffiti Week, I have talked to people from around the world that have come here for graffiti specifically. One of their things they like to do is go to each of our little diners to see the cars that are there, because they feel they're reliving American graffiti, George Lucas. So they're trying to trace the footsteps or the tracks of the cars to each of these different diners. So we feel that A&W is part of that, because when I've been there, I have talked to people that are traveling through from Los Angeles or Northern California, and they hear about A&W and they want to stop in on a Friday night if they're near here to look at the cars and to meet the people. So it's been a staple for Modesto. I think it's a good representation of Modesto as what graffiti was from back then. So we feel if you guys can consider and look into preserving it a historical site, we feel it would be beneficial for not only Modesto, but for the history of younger generations to understand, and people that travel here from around the world that can actually see what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Next online, I see J.A.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. My name is Joe Namer, and what the lady was speaking about a few commenters ago, the Domestic Violence Awareness Day or week or whatever it was, I think that's a pretty good idea because, you know, domestic violence is a pretty horrific, unfortunate reality of today's world that we live in. But, you know, what I wanted to address is that, you know, when it comes to domestic violence, you know, since she commented, I was doing a little bit of research, and I came to find that about 7% of the population is responsible for about upwards of 60% of this nation's domestic abuse. I don't think a Domestic Violence Awareness Day is going to really bring any light to the issue unless we start addressing the actual cause, which is these savage blacks, these third worlders that just, they can't help themselves but from beating women and children, even their own wives and kids. They usually beat them, and then they take off and don't raise them. And then that's how they raise the next generation of America's criminals and felons and food stamp recipients.
All right, I have a comment that I'd like to make at this point. The Modesto Municipal Code and the Brown Act establish rules for public comment. You are not adhering to those rules, which allow you an opportunity to address the council in a lawful manner. Your comments are not within this council's subject matter jurisdiction and are interfering with this meeting.
White power, hail Hitler.
And, okay. All right, next in person, we have...
Hail Hitler, hail the new dawn. White power.
You're interfering with this meeting and keeping the business of the city from being completed. As mayor, I request that you stop disrupting this meeting. All right, next in person, we have Susan Mendieta Beasley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Susan Mendieta Beasley, a native Modestan and a very proud native Modestan. And I'm here to tell you that we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the International Heritage Festival, to which all of you are invited, and all my fellow Modestans and everyone who lives here in this county. Because in this county, we celebrate not only the international heritage that is throughout our community, but we also celebrate our shared American heritage. And I'm very, very proud to be back at Crescenta Park. We have a small but mighty committee, and we are going to be putting on quite a show for our community on that day, which is Saturday, October 7th. I invite you all to come celebrate what makes not only my hometown of Modesto wonderful, but our entire community. And we're going to be showcasing a kaleidoscope of heritage. Dance, crafts, music, performances, even a Scandinavian, believe it or not, audience participation Scandinavian dance there too, a dance demo. So you have to be there. Something brand new that we're having is an international fashion show in the afternoon. That way it will showcase every country who we have there at the festival, and then some, in our international dress up on the stage at Mancini Bowl. So we're absolutely thrilled. Well, of course, there are challenges as you try to regroup and reconnect. I do want to say thank you very much to our very own City of Modesto for working with us to allow us to have the event in Crescenta Park once again. And again, you're going to be treated to an instrument petting zoo with the Modesto Symphony, the Modesto Fire Department, a special appearance by Betsy Ross. Someone asked me, how is that possible? I said, time travel. Everyone does time travel nowadays, so she's going to be there. Opera Modesto soloist Katie Overton will sing our nation's anthem. The ceremony is at 11 a.m. Got to make sure to tell you that. We'll be making all kinds of crafts with children. Modesto High students will be there volunteering. And we'll have countries such as China, Guatemala, Taiwan. Of course, our USA will be represented. Vikings, you can dress up like a Viking. Bet you always wanted to do that, right? Those cool Viking hats and the shield, they're really heavy. I urge you to try it. It's lots of fun. Johansson High School Jazz Combo will be there with patriotic music, music from India, Egypt. It's just going to be traveling around the world, free family fun, and again, it's what makes our community so wonderful, and I'm proud to say that I'm a Modestan and offering this, and all of us are working very, very hard to bring a quality event to our community. So please join us Saturday, October 7, 10 to 4 at Crescenta Park. The opening ceremony is at 11 a.m., and we would love to have someone from the city giving us that official welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next online, RM.
My name is Ryan Masano, resident of Modesto. I stand before you today to discuss an issue that affects each and every resident of our community, the state of our public transit system. As our city grows, so does the need for a reliable, efficient, and sustainable transit network. Firstly, let's talk about accessibility. Currently, many areas of our city are underserved by public transit, forcing residents to rely on personal vehicles. This not only exacerbates traffic congestion, but also limits opportunities for those who cannot afford a car. We must expand our bus and train routes to reach these areas and offer more frequent services, especially during peak hours. Secondly, affordability is a concern. High fares discourage people from using public transit, leading them to opt for less eco-friendly alternatives. I propose that we explore options for subsidized fares for low-income families, students, seniors, and most importantly, immigrants. We need to purchase as many cattle cars as we can and ship these niggers and
All right,
kites.
this is your final warning. You are once again advised that you are off topic, raising repetitious and irrelevant issues and disrupting the council meeting. If you persist, I will have no choice but to direct the deputy city manager to remove you from Zoom for the duration of the meeting. All right, next in person is Diane.
Not very good to have to follow that. But anyway, thank you for listening to me, and at least I hope you will. Yeah, I'm Diane, and definitely Modesto City resident. And I want to start with just what happened last meeting that I attended. At the end of the public, I'm going to read this because I get too carried away. At the end of the public comment period, a city council member made comments that weren't entirely true. Such as plenty of beds available. But we, the speakers at that point in time, had no option to speak. And we should have the ability to respond, but we couldn't. And also, the agenda does not appear to have homelessness on it. And one has to wonder, when will that happen? Is there a process, that means an ongoing one, to fix all that? I've understood that there's something, but we don't have the vaguest idea what that something is, and we don't have much input to it. Homelessness seems to be viewed as a housing shortage only. It's not. You have to understand the problem before you fix it, or you wind up with safe parking rules that only very few homeless people can meet. They don't have money to be normal as we are. We talk to those that deal with the people before you make rules that aren't sensible, please. I attended a Latino Roundtable luncheon that had our State Assembly District 22, Juan Elanis, and I asked the question about homeless. And he said something like the police were able to talk to people when jailed. And then I realized that he forgot all about that they had to leave their belongings, were probably lost while they went to jail. And that means that would be the same for them as you or me losing our house, because that's what they have to live with. Elanis, I hope I'm saying his name right, thought government shouldn't be involved. Probably it's a national problem. Ignoring it's a national problem. And faith, as in churches, should step up. Well, how many churches do you know that could, with that capability, especially nationally? Because it is a national problem, even though right now we're just talking about our city, because that's what we're really interested in. Even here, the Salvation Army is having trouble with money. The county is unwilling to keep giving money because the city is dragging their feet. That they are really taking money back, and they have been losing people. So you might want to think about that, because your chances of having them help things is going to go out the window. I view homeless that it's not like a cut that can be fixed by a Band-Aid. More like cancer that spreads when left unattended. Doctors and nurses should be shamed if patients were treated that way, and I believe you should be also. I'm done now for now. Thank you very much for listening. Take care.
You're welcome. Next online, JS.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I know my comments here are within your purview, because I'll be discussing some problems with what I see as discrimination being used against white people for your equity programs. And you do not have the right to shut down my free speech, no matter how many Jews are on your board. The ADL protects the Jews. Who protects the rest of us from kind of the nasty stuff being said about white people?
All right, I have another statement to make.
Go ahead.
The Brown Act and Modesto's Municipal Code allows...
Listen, I'm speaking within the purview of your board. You're interrupting me. Shove it, lady. Let me speak.
All right, mute him. So I'll make this statement. The Brown Act and Modesto's Municipal Code allows members of the public to address the City Council on any item that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of this City Council. Members of the public on Zoom have continued to raise repetitious and irrelevant comments not within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Council, interfering with the orderly conduct of the meeting and keeping the business of the city from being completed. Therefore, I am closing the public comment portion for Zoom. Next in person, Linnell Solomon.
Good evening, council members. Linnell Solomon here. As usual, I'm here fighting for a safe sleeping place for my people. Tonight, I am here also to ask your chief of police to have his guys stand down to stop the cruel and harassing treatment of my people by law enforcement. Last week at 3 a.m., an MPD officer woke one of my elderly couples from a sound sleep to tell them they need to move. Where the heck do they want them to go at that hour? We don't want or need officers dealing with vulnerable, destitute people with a cold set of rules. We need officers with compassion and discretion to make a different call based upon human factors. These elderly were merely sleeping, not doing anything to anybody, just sleeping. I can't for the life of me understand how anybody could wake someone at 3 a.m. and tell them to move, let alone an elderly couple. This is nothing short of harassment and elderly abuse. It appears that the cops that do this get a thrill out of harassing the weak and the frail. And quite honestly, I am sick and tired of hearing about this abusive behavior that my tax dollars are paying for. You tell me where does one move at 3 a.m.? You tell me that this is not harassment or abuse? This elderly couple I've been working with for a month and will be housed in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. Law enforcement seems to think that those on the street want to be there. These people don't want to be there. They have no choice, especially the elderly. Those of us out there working on housing my people have our hands tied due to limited housing. That's why a safe sleeping place for them is so important. It is time the council started taking a stance for my people by demanding law enforcement start treating them with compassion, respect, human kindness, and dignity they deserve, that everybody deserves. Many of you council members profess to be God-fearing. Prove it by stopping the talk. Start walking the walk. Give my people a safe place to sleep so they won't be harassed, robbed, beaten, or raped. Thank you again, and as always, I invite you to join me on the streets.
Right. Next is Betty Santos.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Betty Santos here. I'm a representative from West Coast Customs. I just wanted to share my thoughts on making the A&W a historical site as well. At this time, we've been there for the last 4 to 5 years, just cruising up there on a Friday night, enjoying the people there, the Elvis impersonators, and enjoying a meal as well. So some of the members have continued to go there. Some of us have chose a different place because of the rumor of the A&W being shut down and everything. And we would love to continue to go back there. It's, somebody would take it over and whatnot. But I also wanted to share a quick story. There was one car club from Southern California who drove all the way up to Modesto just to view the A&W and have a meal and watch Elvis impersonators. And there was a hot rod club, and they really enjoyed the people there and just networking, checking out cars, and etc. So I just wanted you guys to consider as making the A&W the historical site. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm not sure, N.A. There you go. Okay.
How you doing? My name's Sam. I'm pretty much just going to leave it at that because I don't know half the names that walk around the city and I live in. So I'm going to leave that at that. And I'm a concerned citizen from South Modesto. I don't know who runs that district or area. I've been there. My mother's been there for 28 years, currently dying on her stage 4. I don't know whose idea it was to put islands in when I don't have a sidewalk for children to walk to elementary school. I don't know whose idea it was to put islands in when signs are shot out every night. I don't know whose idea it was to put islands in when nobody can sleep at night. All the roads are damaged. All the parks are slept in. What I mean by slept in is all about like homeless, which I'm sure you guys all have been addressed about time and time again. And I'd like to say another thing on this 3-minute rule is really ridiculous, especially when you got a hardworking old lady like this coming out here every freaking time. I came for her. I didn't even want to be here. I don't even want to come here. This is crazy. Do you hear all the racist comments on here? That's because they're infringed in their mind. They have no mental health. They have nowhere to go. These people don't have anything or anywhere to go. But we have people like you guys making judges like that. What do I need an island for? So you can't make a U-turn? What kind of ridiculous show is this? Because I would really like to know. I need answers. Why would you put an island in if I don't have a sidewalk to walk to the schools for children? I need answers. I get no answers? 28 years? Has any of you guys been here for 28 years? Anybody want to answer that?
Sam, I'm Councilmember Alvarez.
We're here to listen
Well, hold on.
to you.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forget.
Yeah.
I have to direct it towards you. It can't
Yes,
go towards him. Okay.
yes, you do.
It doesn't matter because it's all of us involved anyway.
Sam, can I give you my business card? We can talk?
Negative.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming
Is
out.
my 3 minutes up? I can't see.
You know, I can't see the clock either.
I'm not done yet if I still got time to
no,
go.
you still have time. It's green.
Green light.
Oh, green light. Okay. Anyways, so to concern about the homeless and the mental health awareness and everything with the domestic violence, my mother was beat by my father, as so was I. And that is the last thing you guys need to worry about. What you need to worry about is these men in the back room that are real men standing up and protecting the city. They need pay raises, not pay cuts. Not less men, less women. They need help. They need better academies, better schooling. Why is our prisons growing and our colleges aren't? You see this? They're working us from the inside out. I'm not going to say anything else. Have a good day, Circus Show.
All right. Next in person is CC Hurst Hart. Welcome.
Good afternoon. This is my first time doing anything like this, so the live stream section was a little much for me earlier. I'm not used to that. I was not expecting that whatsoever, so that was a lot. But I just wanted to introduce myself to everyone. I'm the new Central Valley community organizer for Tuolumne River Trust, so I'm excited just to work with the city more and work with the community more and work to make the Tuolumne River just a place where people want to go, a place where it feels safe to go outside and recreate. I live in South Modesto in District 2, and so I like going to Dry Creek, but just the other Tuolumne Regional Park is just so inaccessible. You don't know where to park. The parking that you're supposed to park at, it kind of feels like, should I park here? Is my car going to get towed? You know, I was just there today, and I was wanting to lead a nature walk there. I lead nature walks. I'm also the board president of the North San Joaquin California Native Plant Society. So I lead nature walks monthly in the community, and I'd love to lead one there in Modesto. I lead a lot on the Stanislaus River, but yeah. So I just wanted to say hi, and I'm excited to work with the city more.
All right. Thank you for being here today. All right, next is Richard and Adrian. Oh.
Good
Welcome.
evening, distinguished council members. My name is Richard Navarro. I'm with Modesto Sister City, and also good evening, citizens of Modesto. I understand that we celebrated Modesto's 150th plus anniversary of being a city. And with much honor and much happiness, the MSCI organized an event, and I want to thank all of the city council members who attended. I see a lot of faces that were there. That was really important to us. We wanted to not only bring citizens of Modesto together, but we took the opportunity to invite France, Ukraine, Japan, Canada, Mexico. I think I got everybody right. Very good. They were all present. One of the things being that I am chair of Khmelnytsky, Ukraine, I was present when a flag was presented to the city of Modesto, to our mayor. that flag, I wish it would have been here today, because I don't know about you, but I'm a visual person. When I see something, it really makes an impact. And that flag is not just a flag, but it had actual soldiers that are right now on the front lines. That is their name. How many of those are going to go home to see their family at the end of this war? We don't know. I hope that it finds a very special place here in Modesto, maybe at the museum so other citizens can see that, but it's really important to understand that impact that we have here in Modesto, the city of Modesto. We did I believe it was a proclamation that we did, or was it a declaration, Mayor Sue? It was incredibly received in Khmelnytsky, Ukraine, as a shot in the arm for them to face the adversity that they have. 10,000 miles away, we do make an impact, and they make an impact on us. I want to thank you for this moment and continue to be able to expect your support. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, next is Wyatt Bowman.
Madam Mayor, City Councilman, thank you for letting me have a minute. This is my Vice President, Walt, and one of our commanders here, Lori. We're from the Farrell's Car Club. We were here to do the cruise band stuff, and we're glad that it all worked out. Seems like everything's working out anyway. We're going to talk about the A&W Drive-In tonight. We occupied the A&W Drive-In on Friday nights for over 28 years. We were there every Friday. Good, bad, or indifferent, all year long. We'd take the month of December off for holidays, and we'd be back on January, the second week of January, excuse me. And we'd like to see something done with it. We just simply outgrew it. We have 23,000 members in the Farrells. That's worldwide. I'm the president of the Worldwide Farrells. And we have about 260 members right here in town, in Modesto alone. And we had to move out to Caliburger because we were overrunning the parking lot. The only time we could barely get enough cars in there is when the nights that Elvis wasn't there. So we moved over to Cali, and Cali shut down, and we moved out to Valero, where we got a big lot. We can't hardly run out of room. But what we'd like to do is get back involved with A&W, because that's where I started this thing, like I said, 28 years ago, was over there. And maybe do it like a once-a-month thing, or twice-a-month thing, or on a special Saturday, or do Cars and Coffee or something. Keep it alive and keep it going. And it's in disarray, something terrible. It's going to take a lot of work. They've let it run down. It's just almost down to nothing. I don't know what A&W stands, where they stand on this matter. Johnny told me a long time ago that it was on some kind of registry the way it was. Now, I don't know. That'll have to be checked. Because he was talking about not being able to change any of the signage around because of the city ordinances, and something had to do with it's on some kind of a, not historic resident necessary, but some type of compliance that he couldn't go with. That's why he couldn't get new signage and everything. So it could be really brought back, and it is a staple of Modesto. It's been here since 1957. I can remember when I was a little boy going over there. My mom and dad had friends that lived around the corner. I'd go there and get me a root beer float or something when I was a kid back in the early 60s. So it's been there, and it should stay. We should be involved in the city, us as car clubs. I will come forward with the Farrells, and we've got manpower, and we will do whatever we can to help, because we want it to stay, just like the museum is with the other Farrells. They do that. Let us have part of this here. Let's be part of moving forward and make it what it is. You know, we are the cruising capital of the world, and every time that movie plays, Modesto, 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 and let's make Modesto our home again. Okay, thank you very much. Walt, do you have anything to say?
Oh. Home of the Farrells, A&W. You look on the building, it's still there.
Still it says Home of the Farrells.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. The next in person is Maggie Countryman.
How you doing? Jose, how's it going? Good? Okay, let me read this to you. I believe I already read the judge's decision regarding Bronson Avenue. Your file is Escobar v. Murphy, 2013-002. Motion by the board, not a committee, a board, right? The Office of the District Attorney and County Council assigned the right of appeal brought by neighbors against 1705 Bronson regarding 5 years of permit abuse at the hands of the county unto itself, changing the administrative record for the purpose of insurance fraud by the city of Modesto, specifically Jose Sanchez. On 11/12/13, the district attorney had county sheriff's deputies serve a false restraining order on the undersigned before a regularly scheduled city council meeting of 11/12/13. We were item 20. They made us wait in the back for hours, just like I just did now. Today is 10 years from the date that the Board of Zoning Adjustment reversed the district attorney's office regarding the permit issued May 8th. This has already been filed with both courts, the Judicial Council and Superior Court. So I'm just letting you know that this claim by my husband and I and our 3 properties has been before risk management since 2019. Now, I received a letter from your insurance company saying that they acknowledged this claim from 2019 because it is against your federally funded city planning. And this man wonders why you've got circles and no sidewalks, because in 2009 they did a detailed, you paid a lot of money to have a detailed description of your planning department. And every word of the 800 pages says nobody knows what the other is doing. Mr. Lopez was city manager when this occurred. I believe he was at the hearings. If you want to know why he cannot have that 2-story building and why the sheriff's department is flying over my house every week or two, wasting their gasoline on that helicopter looking at this and still not taking action. Here's a false document from Jose. Here it is, right here. I'm going to leave it with the clerk. This says there was an appeal of the BZA. That makes you Supreme Court.
All right, is there anyone else wishing to come forward at this time to speak under public comment? All right, please step forward.
Good evening, my name is Zaf, and my wife Linel, I want to let you know she don't even like to come here every week, but she coming here, the only reason she's talking about behalf of the people she's helping out on the street. And I want to tell you, I'm amazed that so long and nothing done. And I tell you, I'd like to talk to you, Mayor. Those four council members that against helping them with a safe place for those people. But let's put 3 of them aside. I'd like to talk to you. And there's 2 types of politicians. There is politicians that are politicians, talk a lot, doing nothing. And then politicians that actually, they're not politicians, they are leaders. They make decisions, even if sometimes they don't like it, it doesn't go their way. But you know what? They figure there's people need help. Maybe if a lot of people tell me I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong. Now, I don't know. Maybe you guys listen. Sometimes I wonder if all of you listen when people talk here, but you listen. Maybe tell us if you have a better resolution for the homeless situation. You know, because it's amazed me. You always talking about compassion. Every time when you talk, every second sentence it's about compassion. Show me your compassion. You know, I'm going with my wife and I see those people. You know, just today she stopped to give some bus passes to 2 of her people that need to come downtown tomorrow. And you should see, she talked to them, she told them what she's going to talk about tonight, and you should see this lady crying like a baby. People that don't do, you know, I understand if you have people on private property and people don't like it, I understand it. But I can't understand what's wrong, where you want them to go. If they're at a public park, where you want them to go. I just, you know, bring resolution for the problem. And I tell you what, if the head of the sheriff department finally said that we need to do something about it with safe camping, maybe listen to him instead listen to the head of the police department. You know? But show people here that you're ready to lead the city. Because I tell you what, the way I see it, this is not leadership. This is not leadership, it's making tough decisions. And it's time for you to make the decision and join the other 3 that already agree that safe place for the homeless, it's the thing to do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right.
Loretta Cart. Yes, I wasn't going to say anything, but I've heard so much today about the homeless and all this stuff. There are lots of homeless people, lots of them. But there's lots of them that make just as much money as I do, exactly as much, if not more than I do, who are homeless. And you guys that are giving constantly to these homeless people, I wish somebody would start taking pictures of all those you give to. Right out by Costco, there are people out there begging for money. We are so poor, we have nothing at all. Well, those people can get up and try also, and we've got so many people right here in this town who will sit and sleep all day, then walk around in the city stealing from everything imaginable. And yes, constantly it's done. Apparently these people who are giving money to these people start asking them, where do they get that other money? And all that kind of stuff. Because yes, I myself am disabled, but I still live in a house. But yes, I'm taken constantly and called a liar about everything. And yes, some of you guys know it, one person especially. But I'm taken constantly for something. But there's lots of those people who even ride the bus, and today, a man and a woman, or was it yesterday, the man tells me to keep my blank thing out of it and starts that language, and I said something to him, and then he starts around and starts cussing everyone. We've got lots of narcotic people out here, lots of them. I myself was on medicine, and mine in my version is narcotic. Now I can't halfway walk, but that's because I stopped every bit of that medicine. So please quit helping these people that walk around begging for money. Anybody that sits around and begs for cash is normally, that I've ever found, is the biggest liars in the world. And tell me if they're not.
Right. Anyone else wishing to come forward at this time? In person?
Good evening. How you doing? I just wanted to, I just pretty got here, so I didn't catch too much of what went on earlier, but I just wanted to speak on behalf of the A&W historical, the restaurant down the street that's here in Modesto. As a kid myself, I grew up there. Had a lot of memories there, and I just wanted to kind of share a few stories. When I first got my car, which was about 3 or 4 years ago, that was one of the first places that I took my car to, took a few pictures of it and stuff like that. So, when I think A&W downtown, that's what I think is classic cars. Stuff like that, not like the newer A&Ws that are built out there, nothing, so it's a whole different type of a restaurant. So I just wanted to share a few words, not too much tonight, but I just wanted to see if we can consider it being a historical site. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that want to keep that place, going, not see it get knocked down or nothing like that. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm here on behalf of that and supporting that tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else in person? All right. Next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 3, consider approving the minutes from the September 12th, 2023 council meeting. Item 4, consider approving a will serve letter and outside service agreement for water service for the property located at 1240 Ohio Avenue. Item 5, consider accepting the rebid Sutter Sanitary Sewer Trunk Rehabilitation Project Phase 1 as complete, releasing securities and releasing payments totaling $3,428,253 to Mozingo Construction, Inc. out of Oakdale and authorizing the city clerk to file a notice of completion. Item 6, consider an ordinance amending sections of Title 8, Chapter 3 of the Modesto Municipal Code to increase the city manager's authority for all contracts and purchase orders from $50,000 to $100,000 for goods and services, increasing the city manager's authority for all emergency projects, purchases, and services, increasing the formal bidding authority from $50,000 to $100,000, expanding the definition of professional services and adding language to allow for electronic bidding, and rescinding the first reading of the ordinance approved by council on July 11, 2023. Item 7, consider approving the First Amendment for on-call plumbing services with Champion Industrial Contractors, Inc. out of Modesto, to a revised total amount of $432,370 to the term of the agreement. Item 8, consider accepting an informational report for the July 2023 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 9, consider accepting the annual investment report for fiscal year 2022-2023. Item 10, consider accepting a report detailing city personal property sold, donated, or disposed of during fiscal year 2022-2023. Item 11, consider approving a report on fiscal year 2022-2023 unclaimed funds of $11,601 that can be transferred to the general fund. Item 12, consider approving the fiscal year 2022-2023 write-off and adjustment reports through fiscal year in June 30th, 2023 in the total amount of $1,310,155. Item 13, consider accepting the Board of State and Community Corrections Organized Retail Theft Prevention Grant in the amount of $6,003,419 in grant funds. Item 14, consider approving an agreement for building intrusion alarm services to Audiamus DBA Sebastian out of Fresno for a total amount not to exceed $83,998 over 5 years. Item 15, consider the submittal of a grant applications to the State of California Strategic Growth Council to support investment, sustainability, and climate change mitigation.
All right. This has been quite a meeting. Excuse me. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Councilmember Wright and a second from Vice Mayor Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin?
Aye. So it carries unanimously. We are going to, at this moment, take a 10-minute break. We will resume at 6:40 p.m. Welcome back to our City Council meeting. I have a statement to make. I'm sorry the public had to experience the comments provided under Zoom tonight. Those comments continued to raise repetitious and irrelevant statements not within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. The comments interfered with the orderly conduct of the meeting and kept the business of the city from being completed. As a reminder, the city is not obligated to provide Zoom unless a member of the council is participating virtually under the provisions of Assembly Bill 2449. All right, next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Are there any council members that would like to make comments? Council Member Bavaro.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I originally was going to make some comments regarding safe parking, but I can't let the comments of the hate and the racist that we heard tonight go without comment. Hate and race speech is protected by the First Amendment in our country, but the hate and race comments that we heard tonight from these fascists and Nazis attempting to disrupt the people's business in the city of Modesto will fail next time they try. I'll try not to say any bad words because I'm furious over this. Brings back memories as a child. My dad was in the Italian army, and he deserted his country, came here illegally. When Mussolini and Hitler joined forces, and I remember listening to the stories that my dad would tell me about the Nazis and the fascist government in Italy, and never would I thought I'd hear it at a meeting that we're having tonight. We need to crush these pukes, and we need to crush fascism and Nazism as they spear up at these type of meetings. And we as Americans need to stand strong against these type of individuals. Freedom and democracy is in our bones. And I've seen it in my family, and I've seen what Nazis and what fascism does. It's not good. These people are bad people. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to echo Councilmember Bavaro's feelings here. You know, our country's beaten fascism once. We're going to do it again. But on to a few other issues that I need to talk about tonight. I want to start off by thanking people for coming together and supporting A&W Root Beer as an official Modesto landmark. We had, a dozen people sign up for the Landmark Preservation Committee as well. Protecting the past is a really important way to ensure our future, and I just really appreciate your support for one of the things that I think makes Modesto very special. Also, Leo the Lion is back in Modesto, and if you remember Leo the Lion, he was a drinking fountain shaped like a lion that was in Beard. It was called Children's Park back in the day, but later it was called Beardbrook Park. But when the city sold the land to Gallo, he was left there, and the city realized that, got him out of there, and then he went on a journey all the way to Minnesota to be refurbished, and then he made his way back, and now he's back here in Modesto, and he is going to live in his new home, his new, what do they call it, a realm? Stomping ground? I don't know. Kingdom, there you go, on the Virginia Trail. It's going to be fantastic, and I would just be really, really honored as many people as they could would come at 11 a.m. on Friday, this Friday, September 29th, to welcome Leo home. It's at the corner of Virginia and Morris. Finally, I just want to talk a little bit about Enslin Park. We're just really struggling there, and it just demonstrates the problems that we're having in this city with homelessness. We don't have enough shelter, and when we don't have enough shelter, the homeless live in our parks, our neighborhoods, and our businesses. And I just strongly believe this city has to create concrete solutions, and so we can do better for all our people. And thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Any other comments from council members? I have a few things that I'd like to mention this evening, and as I look at my little reference list here, they may seem trivial, but as I think further on them, I think they're not. I think that they are all things that really show what our city and community are about. Our Modesto Nets were the California League champions this year. It really was a great celebration. I was fortunate enough to be there for their final home game. They are a great group of young people that have dedicated their lives to the sport of baseball, and the stadium was full, and families were having a really great time, so it was a fun thing to be a part of. As was mentioned earlier, unfortunately they left, but the Deputy Mayor of Melnitsky, our sister city in Ukraine, came and presented Vice Mayor Ricky and me with a Ukrainian flag that was signed by the frontline soldiers. It was quite a tender moment, and I'm grateful for that. We recently opened up housing on 9th Street, which will provide housing for our 18 to 25-year-olds that have previously been homeless. And Center for Human Services is a big part of that. Cindy Duenas and her crew from their Youth Navigation Center are leading the way. Many of us at the League of California Cities convention conference last week, and I want to say I was so inspired by the presenters, but mainly inspired listening to them, knowing that we are doing everything they describe in their cities in our city, and often we're doing it more thoroughly and more thoughtfully. We received 2, not just 1, but 2 Helen Putnam Awards, the only city in the state of California to receive 2, for our Youth Continuum of Care and also for our chat program. Last Friday night, many of us attended the Sister Cities 150th Gala to celebrate Modesto's 150th birthday, albeit 3 years late, but it was still celebrated, and it was a great experience. And on last weekend, I attended the McHenry Mansion 140th celebration. There again, another opportunity, and there were at least, they said, over 200 people that attended the mansion's birthday. So it is a beloved place, and it was an honor to be there. All right, Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm going to touch on the housing aspect that you mentioned already, but I appreciate the work that our housing department has done, the diligent work that they have done in bringing dollars to the city of Modesto for affordable housing. The city of Modesto celebrated the opening of the 14 permanent supportive housing units for homeless and at-risk youth in downtown on 9th. The project specifically consists of 10 studio apartments and 4 one-bedroom units. Each unit is fully furnished and includes a kitchenette, washer and dryer, and wireless internet access. For a household of 1, to qualify for a unit, the maximum household includes, or a maximum household income is $17,750 per year. Rent will be affordable and will not exceed 30% of each respective household's income, totaling approximately $444 a month. In terms of county pockets, there was a comment made earlier from a member of the public. I think it's important to highlight this, and I want to give thanks to Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors for recently earmarking $40 million for sidewalks and other basic municipal services like street lights, gutters, and lights, and other crossing lights and whatnot in South Modesto, the airport community, and also the west side of Modesto, where I personally grew up and personally walked through mud puddles and around mud puddles with my siblings to get to Burbank Elementary during the winter and rainy seasons. And I've never shared this story publicly that I'm about to share now, but as a kid, other than what I have shared it written, but when I was a kid, and this was what set me on my education academic journey, ultimately here to City Council, I remember asking the question of why does my cousin's neighborhood have sidewalks, and why don't we have sidewalks where we live? I used to ask my parents those sorts of questions. And I remember stating this story when I applied to my master's at George Washington University. They asked me, why did you want to earn a master's degree? And in my story, I conveyed that. Like when I was a kid, I remember asking these basic questions, and that led me to public service. And I learned the answer to that question in my, before my master's, but that question was the types of questions that I would ask as a youth, and it's led me to here. And so I hear the public loud and clear in terms of their concern about county pockets. The City of Modesto and the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors are dedicated to bringing basic municipal services to these areas that are traditionally and historically underserved. And so I appreciate those comments. I'd like to have those conversations with the public and my constituents about them, and I'm happy to share that dollars are being allocated specifically for that. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to chime in on the fact that our general manager, Veronica, who is the general manager of the Nuts, the first female general manager in our history to have been able to acquire a championship for our city of Modesto, and I might add the first Latina as well. I think that's an outstanding thing, and I congratulate her and all of those who won. It was great to be at the game that was here locally before they went to Rancho Cucamonga. But I also want to say that I really thoroughly enjoyed myself with my colleagues in Sacramento when we were at the city's event, where there were other cities from all over California. It was iron sharpening iron. And lastly, I want to thank this council, particularly the mayor, for handling this meeting the way that they did, the way that she did, in eliminating things that have nothing to do with the character of the individuals who are on this dais. I appreciate each and every one of my colleagues, male, female, whatever ethnicity. I'm not here as a African American. I'm here as a human, because we are all a part of the human race. And trust me, every person in our world has something to contribute to mankind, and I'm so glad that I can be a part of this wonderful dais we call the City of Modesto City Council members. God bless us all.
Thank you. Councilmember Escudia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with everything my colleagues have previously said. I also, though, want to publicly denounce just the unfortunate and hateful speech we heard here tonight, and wanted to applaud you, Mayor, for your demonstration of leadership in handling those words. Conversely, on a positive and more light, we all articulated, and I'm not going to repeat, just the amazing work that we have collectively been doing as a united council in collaboration with staff, with fire, police, law enforcement, and members of the community, and all, and just members of the nonprofit. Our work product is providing fruitful, tangible results, and it's benefiting people, it's sheltering people, it's helping people that otherwise wouldn't have those services and support. Are we there yet? No. Are we perfect? No. Do we have work to do? Yes. But that's what we're here for. That's what we signed up for. We're going to continue to work with and collaborate with those people that want to work with us in making Modesto a better place to be and to live and to raise our children. And I know that we're all of that frame of mind and mindset, and I look forward to being part of that team and making Modesto just a better place to be. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right, you're welcome. Item 16, next on the item on the agenda is hearings. Item 16, a hearing to consider acceptance of the City of Modesto's Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report for program year 2022-2023. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, Director of Community and Economic Development. So tonight I'm presenting on our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, otherwise known as our KEEPR. So as an entitlement community, the City of Modesto is eligible for 3 funding sources from HUD. Community Development Block Grant Funds, CDBG, Home Investment Partnership Funds, Home and Emergency Solutions Grants. The goal of these funds are to serve low-income persons or households and develop viable communities by providing decent housing, suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities. So as a condition of these funds, each year the city has to bring forward an annual action plan on how we will spend them, and then this plan today on how we actually spent our funds this year. Next slide. It's not working. Okay, now it is. Okay, so this year the City of Modesto was awarded a little over $3 million. The majority of that funds with CDBG funds, closely following by Home and then ESG. So we expended about $2.5 million, and this is really the funds that we expended this year, and it doesn't take into account those that we've earmarked for future projects and actually will spend in future program years. So some are projects that we actually accomplished this year was the Boys and Girls Club over at 920 Sunset Avenue. This was a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club as well as the Parks Department to move the modular from Dr. Martin Luther King Park over to a permanent location here and help serve both the First Tee as well as Boys and Girls Club. And we were able to contribute $300,000 in CDBG funds. Next one is the senior playground. So this is over in Ralston Towers in downtown Modesto. The City of Modesto was able to contribute $650,000 in CDBG funds. And in partnership with the Parks Department, we were able to leverage a $550,000 State of California Parks and Recreation grant for the completion of this park. Next up, this is one that we awarded, not yet expended, but you guys are familiar with this, 7th Street Village, which is a mixed-use development downtown, 79 units where we contributed $7 million. A portion of that was within CDBG to assist with the acquisition of properties. Next up is our homeowner rehabilitation program. This program offers loans and grants to low-income homeowners in the City of Modesto. We were able to assist 10 households for a total of $256,000. Some of those repairs included health and safety repairs, windows, HVAC, roofing, electrical, and ADA accessibility. So a portion of our CDBG funds can be used for public services, and so these are direct grants to nonprofits for direct services. And so we were able to expend $341,000 to assist 9 different programs to serve a total of just over 1,200 individuals. For emergency solutions grants, this is the funding the city receives to help address homelessness. And so with that, we were able to support shelter operations, homeless prevention, and some rapid rehousing, as well as street outreach. We were able to expend $238,000, assist 50 local nonprofits, and serve 590 individuals. One of the other projects that was completed this year, it was already talked about through some council comments, but was our youth housing project in partnership with Center for Human Services. This created 14 new units of permanent supportive housing for youth. One of the projects that was completed this year, but funding was spent in the previous year, was our Archway Commons project, which was at 1101 Carver Road. This is 74 units of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments for affordable rental. So as part of our process of bringing this item forward, we do a citizen participation process in order to ensure that we outreach to the community. And so we had our draft caper available on August 17th and started our community meetings, which included community groups, the Community System of Care, and the Stanislaus Homeless Alliance. Tonight, we're here for the public hearing for City Council, and then following approval, we would submit it to HUD by the deadline on September 28, 2023. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, does council have any questions of staff? Vice Mayor Ricky.
I just wanted to ask, muted here. But like, how did you guys get so much done in 1 year? I mean, that's insane. Wow.
Thank you. I have a great
I
staff.
wanted to put that in the form of a question. Does that work? All right. All right, thanks.
That's a question. Any other questions from council? Councilmember Alvarez.
Similar to my colleague, Mr. Councilmember Ricky here, yeah, this is unprecedented. This is nearly unprecedented. We don't see it oftentimes, these sorts of, production in the state of California and across the country. So my hat is really off to our housing department and your staff here, Jessica. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll now open the public hearing. I'd like to ask members of the public to come forward. I do not have any blue speaker cards at this time. Is there anyone in the public that would like to come forward at this time regarding item 16? Seeing none, I will close public comments and ask council members for further comments. Councilmember Alvarez.
Sorry, Mary, that was from earlier.
Okay. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, you and your team do an outstanding job. And when I talk to other council members in the county, sometimes I'm a little embarrassed because we're doing so much here to help for affordable housing, getting people out of our shelters into transitional housing to open up more beds. And when I tell them what we're doing, it's almost like a deer in the headlights. They get this glaze like, how do you do that? You know, and you guys think outside the box. You look for every grant that you can to come back to this city to help our underdeserved citizens and for the citizens that need a hand up. And Edgar and you and all of your team are doing an excellent job. And I'm just glad I'm part of this team too. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Williams.
Ditto. Absolutely incredible. You're getting it done. You're getting it done expeditiously, but you're getting it done with professionalism. So hats, I don't have a hat on, so I can't hats off to if I don't have a hat. I would say hair off, but I don't have any hair either. But thank you to your entire department. And even still under the leadership of our city manager, because, you know, it starts at the top, and he gives you all the opportunity to do what you need to do, including the deputy city managers. We thank them as well. This is a good thing, and it's good for our community. A lot of people say we're not doing anything for our city. They just don't know. And it's okay, because my motto is time tells all stories.
All right. Any other council comments at this time? Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the City of Modesto's Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report for program year 2022-2023 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to sign the required documents for submittal to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Alvarez, second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Walling.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Next is item 17, hearing to consider approving the Earth Day in the Park event fee schedule. And we will have a report. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. My name is Mariah Hill. I am the Solid Waste Division's Recycling Program Coordinator, and I'm here to provide a recommendation for a fee schedule for Earth Day. I know I've seen many of you at Earth Day, but for those of you who have not yet attended, I'll give a little summary of what the event is. It's an annual event that the city hosts in Griseda Park. It has been going for 30 years now, barring a couple of years where we had to cancel for COVID. But it is always free to the public, and it's an opportunity for us to engage with citizens about sustainability and environmentalism, to bring together businesses that have sustainable models and community organizations and local agencies and local government. Last year, in 2023, we had 4,500 people roughly attend. We had 15 community sponsors and over 50 vendors and organizations. So the funding for the event is broken down here. It's roughly 25% cost recovery, so that's between our booth fees and our sponsorships, and then the City Solid Waste Fund in our outreach and education budget funds the other 75%. So I have the fee schedule that we've been using prior, but unfortunately staff recognized that in 2023 we had not taken a fee schedule to council in the previous 30 years. So that is what this recommendation is for. We went to go change the late fee to waive late fees following COVID to try and increase our number of vendors. And we're told that we needed to bring this schedule to you. So staff took this as an opportunity to do some cost analysis, to review the fees that we had set over 10 years ago, and to analyze a little bit how we can recover more of the cost of providing this service. So approximately the event costs a total of about $55,000. That covers our facility and equipment, staff time for planning and implementation, advertising and outreach, insurance, permitting, and public safety, and then uncategorized other costs. In 2023, that was about 25% covered through fees, booth fees and sponsorships, but we are trying to see closer to 35 or 33% cost recovery. So the proposal here has an increase of about 55% across the board, but we have weighted those increases towards for-profit businesses and those that are making sales at the events, so that it's less of a cost increase for nonprofits or for those that are just providing information. We've also standardized the late fees for a 25% increase if it is not received before March 15th, and we've requested that the Public Works Director be able to approve increases as needed so that we can keep up with consumer price indexes and related cost increases. That is staff recommendation, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much for that report. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 17? Councilmember Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So you said it was 30 years since we made any changes to the fees?
So the event has been going on for 30 years. The last change that I could find was 10 years ago.
Okay.
But again, this had not gone to council, so it was an unapproved fee schedule.
And so is this enough, do you think?
So this
The
gets
increase?
us, if the averages of attendance that we've had in the past, this gets us to about a third of the event being covered by these fees. I think we look at it as a benefit to the community, and that's why we're comfortable continuing to cover the other 67%. It's treated as a resource fair. People come and learn about government services, learn about sustainability. This is just a way to kind of make up for those costs. So yes.
And then on your, how the event is funded, on the booth fees?
Yes.
It's $2,500 for a booth fee, but then it has another booth 10 by 10. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so that is the sum of that total $55,000 that the event costs. We're recovering about $2,500 currently. in booth fees. And then this is the breakdown for what a single booth would cost an individual vendor. And that's a 10 by 10 foot square, depending on the type of service that they're requesting, whether it's just information or whether they'd like to make sales.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. You mentioned unapproved fee schedule. So I guess this is just kind of correcting.
Yes, yes. I started in this position this year, so I'm correcting it.
So in the future, then, if there's any changes on fee schedules, it would have to come back to the council.
So we're proposing that the Public Works Director be able to make those changes, and then I believe that it would be required to come back every 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions from council members? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 17? I do not see anyone in person, so I will close public comments and ask council for further comments. Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to say I attended the Earth Day Festival this year. I was blown away just by the participation of the community and just all the public sector that was there. As a former event promoter, I was quite impressed by what the city pulled off. And when you look at your budget, it is very, you've been very conscientious. You're spending the people's money quite effectively, and I think you're achieving your goal. And as a promoter, I know how hard that is. So I wanted to say excellent work, and you have my full support.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Yes, I was there as well, and I believe Rosa Scudero-Braden, Councilwoman, was there as well. I relieved her, and she was happy I relieved her. I'll let you explain that. And then, of course, Vice Mayor Ricky came, but I don't know what it was, but everybody wanted to get Vice Mayor Ricky's autograph. I don't understand it, but we had a great time there. And then, you know what, you did say that you started this was your first year.
Yes.
Congratulations. You made it through your first year. Look forward to seeing you on the second.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments from council members?
Yeah. So indeed, I had the pleasure of attending last year as well with my son, and we had a ball. It was quite a lot of fun. All the tchotchkes we walked away with were amazing, and the chips from the Frito-Lay vendor, that was wonderful. But as Councilmember Williams was referring to, we held a council booth where council members got to engage with the public and just chat with them, and for the first time they were speaking directly to the mayor and or to myself or to any of the council members that were there, and it was a lovely opportunity just to answer questions and just engage with the public and let them know just of the work we're doing and hear stories. And so looking forward to participating again this year. Do you anticipate that it's going to be a little bit larger, smaller, or is it hard to tell?
We're starting planning in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
We may do some changes. I'm not sure. We kind of want to be a little bit innovative with it, but we'll definitely still give council their booth.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Sign me up for 10 o'clock.
All right, any other comments? Councilmember Bavaro.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. When you do make changes on the fees, particularly with the haulers, make sure you use the CPI. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we have a resolution approving the Earth Day in the Park event fee schedule and authorizing the Public Works Director or his designee to adjust fees. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, moved by
Second.
Councilmember Bavaro. Second by Councilmember Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudero-Braden.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Swallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.